You've got to come back with me.
Where?
Here's a first look at the Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro.
Let's talk Pixel 8. Pixel 8, get it? I just did their whole marketing campaign for them. So while the tech world is going nuts, analyzing buttons, lack of buttons, and what buttons might happen or not happen, and getting insanely hyped over USB Type-C, Google's doing Google things, and it's like kinda leaking their own new phones way too early. The phone world in general, I think, is pretty nuts. 6 months into the phone's life cycle, and already there are legit rumors about what's coming next. And the Pixel 8 line looks to build off everything the Pixel 7 did, but obviously, make it better. So if you're in the market for a new phone by October, here's what you need to know. So the Pixel 7, I think, was a big step for Google. It was their first time getting to revise their first gen Tensor processor, and somehow delivered a phone I think is one of the best phones rocking any operating system on the market, while also somehow undercutting everyone on price. It is a pretty close to perfect phone. This year though, presumably in October, we'll get the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro, and weirdly, things there are getting smaller as most phones tend to get larger. So let's get Secret Agent style first. The 8 and 8 Pro are codenamed Husky and Shiba. Tells us nothing, but leaked display information for both phones has come out. Husky looks to be the Pixel 8 Pro with a 2822 by 1344p resolution, while a smaller Pixel 8, use my keen deducting sense, say that Shiba sports a 2268 by 1080p resolution. So both are smaller than the current Pixel 7 phones. 6.2 inch screen is coming for the Pixel 8. That is slightly smaller than the Pixel 7 at 6.3 inches, so 0.1 inches to be exact. Screen size is whatever, but what about design? So if you like the Mandalorian style visor design we got the Pixel 6, you're in luck. If not, I don't know, kick rocks, Moff Gideon. So back in March, we got a glimpse of what the Pixel 8 Pro will look like thanks to OnLeaks. Hold on to your chairs, but it looks like a modified Pixel 7 Pro. If you get like surgical though, there are 3 big differences to spot. The most notable one is a change to the camera bar. So unlike previous models, the camera lenses are spread out more across the device, giving each sensor a bit more like breathing room. I think that should help some of the weird shattering issues that we saw on last year's phone. So the corners, meanwhile, seem to be a bit more rounded, kind of more in line with what we have with the Galaxy S23 Plus than sort of squared off corners of, say, the S23 Ultra. And Google, I just want to say some love for this one, has given the Pro a flat display, which has been long overdue. I just want to send some love to flat displays out there. As far as specs go, we can assume first year we had the Tensor G1, second year Tensor G2. Surprise! We're going to be getting the Tensor G3. This guy is codenamed Zuma. I just like knowing the code names here. It's rumored to be based on Samsung's unannounced Samsung Exynos 2300 processor, which is based on Samsung's 3nm processor, which allegedly should be very comparable and compare, I think, pretty favorably to TSMC and the foundry sort of being used and utilized by Qualcomm and Apple. The current Google Tensor G2 is a 5nm chipset. I think this overall should improve processor efficiency and power. For more images, OnLeaks also teamed up with MySmartPrice to give us renders of the regular Pixel 8. Gander at it. It mostly looks right in line with the design introduced with the Pixel 6 and then refined with the 7, although it's obvious that everything looks a little smallerized. The renders here, though, are showing the same dual camera setup on the back, the same sort of visor style array that we've had before. If there is anything interesting here, it's that Google is seemingly switching to a polished metal frame rather than a brushed one, bringing the Pixel 8 to look more similar to the Pixel 8 Pro, or I guess 7 Pro too. Probably just design decisions though for these renders. And since, like I said at the beginning, power buttons are all the hype, volume rocker remains in the same position. And Google is one of the really only companies out there that puts a power button above volume, which I was hoping they were going to switch this year, but no dice. They're going to be to stick around for the 8. We don't know much more about what the Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro's hardware might entail. There were some rumors over the summer that suggested Google is experimenting with a ceramic phone. So we don't know what model that could be. The codename associated with it was it ultimately is going to come out as the Pixel 7a, which doesn't make sense for that to be ceramic. I'd assume if we do see a ceramic phone, it would probably be the Pixel 8 Pro, but nothing substantiating that at all. If you're like me and you loved the Face Unlock on the Pixel 4, every new time Pixel comes out, I get pretty hyped. Like, this is the one that's going to bring it back. It's not. The Pixel 8 lineup is going to support an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. It's still under the display like before. Presumably, it should be faster than Pixel 7's optical sensor, so switching from optical to ultrasonic should hopefully just make it quicker, more responsive, and just generally work better. I imagine it'll be on pace with what we have on the Galaxy S23 Ultra, which I think is amongst the best of the ultrasonic sensors. And if you're talking about Pixel series, I would be remiss and not do my job if I didn't talk cameras. So Google built its successor to the whole Nexus program based just on photos and how good it could do with the single lens and older hardware. And they've done a really good job combining sort of the hardware with cutting edge software and sort of AI to sort of give you incredible processing. In the past, we've seen Google stick with camera sensors for a long time. Actually, it wasn't until the Pixel 6 we finally ditched the sensor that it had back from the Pixel 3. But with this year's lineup, looks like it might change a little bit. I'm going to massacre this developer's name, but I'm going to try. Developer Kuba Wojciechowski spotted support for Husky and Shiba in Google's Camera Go app, specifically referencing staggered HDR support, which is a new approach to HDR photography. What it does, it simultaneously captures short and long exposures to improve capture time. However, the G1 sensor currently used in the Pixel 7 and Pixel 6 before it doesn't support it on a hardware level, which would lead me to believe that is for the hardware tech on the Pixel 8 or Pixel 8 Pro. So for a lot of phone makers, switching camera systems after a couple generations is not unheard of. For Google, though, it is. So I'm taking this rumor with a gigantic grain of salt. Google's also working pretty hard, at least it appears, to improve night sight. So there were some code changes that were found in the latest Google Cameras app that sort of reference code changes that should allegedly be used for the Pixel 8 to give you better low light photography when using a super res zoom. If you remember, maybe you had a Pixel 7, Google's really impressive digital zoom tool only works in really good lighting. Tried to use it at night and it just didn't work at all. So this looks to fix that. It also looks like Google is planning to expand night sight to super res zoom shots, so capture better images through some computational wizardry happening. One of the coolest features I think that we saw on the Pixel 8 on the photo side was sort of its photo unblur. It's going to be coming to the video side as well, so it's a nice tool to actually have. And speaking of software, should be no surprise this will launch and be the first phone to launch with Android 14. So we know a lot about the Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro, but we still don't know a lot. We don't know colors. We have a pretty good sense of design. Everybody's favorite, we know what the power buttons are going to look like. We know what port it's going to have on the bottom. But I think Google still has a lot of surprises to unveil. I think we'll see a lot more. We learn more about Android 14 at Google I/O coming up. But the Pixel line is always exciting. Google's taken the exact opposite approach of most phone manufacturers and just shares information kind of throughout the year about their next generation of phones. I think the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro and ultimately the 7a are really good devices for a lot of people. I think it's those out there that don't care about operating system. The Pixel 7 has been a really awesome choice for a lot of people, and the Pixel 8 looks to build off of that. No matter how good the Pixel 8 is, I'm still holding out hope for a Pixel Fold, but either way, about 6 more months, we will know what the future of the Pixel line is going to be.